on the World Snooker Tour. Sean Maddocks versus the one and only Jimmy White. Rob Spencer is our referee. And of course this could possibly determine the minor placings. As for the top of the group, well, that's all about the last match, which is coming up, featuring another Jimmy Robertson against Joe Perry. Joining me in commentary for this one is David Hendon. And David, it's been a poor day, one has to say, for poor old Sean Maddocks. But at the end of it comes quite a nice prize, actually, the opportunity to play a legend.
Absolutely. As you say, a vast gulf in experience between them. I've done both of Sean's matches so far. It's really been, I think, the safety game that's caught him out. He's been leaving chances from safety battles, hasn't really scored. Jimmy White was looking good right in the first frame against Joe Perry, and then had that stolen from him. He missed a red to the middle, which was effectively frame ball. Perry made a great clearance to win on the black. Never quite looked the same since. He did, of course, get a point from the last match. He needs a point from this one, doesn't he? And he'll finish third, so at least get some prize money. Maddocks needs to win it to finish third himself. Yeah, Jimmy White's 42nd season. Sean Maddocks' his second season. Jimmy would have been 18 when he turned pro in 1980.
Yes, Dave, and it was staggering, you know, when he did turn pro at that age. He won the English Amateur Championship at 16, the World Amateur Championship a couple of years later. And stuff like that was just unheard of. Well, in many respects, he's given 4 points away there. But it was better than hitting the jaws and maybe leaving a red on.
Jimmy White now a 3 times World Seniors champion. Just missed out this year. David Lilly beat him in the final. He's always been a man of the people. He's done so many exhibitions down the years in snooker clubs, meeting the public, and still has a huge following. Be 60 next year, Jimmy, but you know, his popularity has never really dimmed.
And whilst I appreciate that the game was very different then, it has to be remembered that in 1978, at the Crucible, Fred Davis got to the semi-final of the World Championship when he was 64.
Yeah, and he also qualified for the last time at the age of 70. So that is a record that it's going to be hard to see being broken. Now then, there's a chance here for Sean Maddocks to get in. Not to be. They did play in the Pro Series. It was just best of 3 last season. For the record, Jimmy White won 2-1. Very short match.
Yeah, lost the first frame, won the next 2. Simply superb with the rest, White. when he was at the top of his game in the 80s, he was head and shoulders above everyone else with the rest at that particular moment in time. On the other table, by the way, Sonny Akani and John Astley are 1 frame each. Akani won the second frame on the final black. Don't know whether it's because he can't finish first, but White seems to be playing with a lot more freedom than he did earlier on. And if anything, the key action seems just a little smoother. And while 40 years of experience is clearly invaluable, we must also take into consideration that's 40 years of scar tissue.
I get the feeling though Jimmy doesn't spend much time, if any, dwelling on what's happened. He's always been the sort of character who lives for the day. A career that in some ways has been defined by reaching 6 World Championship finals and not winning any of them, but that ignores all his title winning achievements in other events. 10 ranking titles. He's won the Masters, the Irish Masters, which was a huge event, and various other tournaments. One of them was the World Match Play, wasn't it? He beat Stephen Hendry in a best of 35 final in that tournament.
Yeah, he also won the World Masters, a one-off event at the NEC in Birmingham, First prize £200,000, which at that time was a fortune. Well, still is.
Yeah, that was another Barry Hearn promotion. It was sort of the Wimbledon of snooker. They had men's doubles, women's doubles, mixed doubles, junior event where John Higgins beat Mark Williams, and also tie-break, weirdly. If a match wasn't won by 2 frames, then the decider was 1 red in the colours. Anyway, that was 30 years ago now. Here in 2021, Jimmy White with a chance to make a century.
And it could possibly be quite lucrative. I'll tell you about it when he spotted this black. Basically, if White wins this 3-0, Robertson loses 3-0 against Perry, they'd be level on 4 points for second place. Head-to-head wise, they've played out a 2-all draw, so then the tiebreaker for second would be their respective high break, and Robertson's already recorded around 100. Oh, White doesn't make a century. The pink goes astray. Nevertheless, we saw a glimpse there of the brilliance he still can produce. A break of 72, and the miserable day for Sean Maddocks continues. The Whirlwind leads 1-0. The incomparable Jimmy White.
Jimmy White's a break.
59 years of age and still loving his snooker. He's just made a break of 72 to take a 1-0 lead over Sean Maddocks. The cue ball went a little wide there off the break, but no great harm done. Now that was interesting. He was right down the line of the shot playing that. So really, when he made contact, he would have suspected what was happening, and yet he stayed down. Wasn't quite sure.
1.
That's more like it. Just thinking, you know, Dave, we've got the 1984 Masters champion in action at the moment, Jimmy White. Tomorrow, the star attraction is the reigning Masters champion, Jan Bingtao.
4.
Very interesting group. Jamie's in there, Jamie Clark. Louis Heathcote, who's a Leicester man, and Robbie McGuigan, who's only 17. He's just won the Northern Ireland Championship. Could have done without that. He's just flicked off that red and lost his way as a result.
9.
This will cut, but it's thin and it's controlling the white. Not simple. So just a safety.
Sean
Annoying.
Maddocks, 9.
Hello?
1.
Well, what a result as well, where he's finished. On the brown to the middle. A little bit pacier than
5.
intended with the cue ball. But he continues. I think what people remember about that Masters in '84 that he won, it's not the final, it's the semi-final against Kirk Stevens, who made a maximum break. And there were other big breaks as well. It was an astonishing match, really, between two hugely exciting players. Packed house at Wembley Conference Centre.
11. $12.
Kirk's maximum was only the third on television, so it was a big, big deal.
Yeah, up to that point, I think that semi-final was
19.
one of the most exhilarating matches in the game's history. It really was an extraordinary stuff.
20.
The great actor Donald Sutherland was invited, wasn't he? Came in a little late. First frame he saw was the 147.
Yeah, he saw everyone cheering and he must have thought, wow, they love their snooker.
But 147s and their significance, it's all down to culture and knowledge. I remember Steve Davis playing an exhibition in Hungary many, many years ago, before the game was popular in Eastern Europe, and he made a 147, and the reaction was very muted because people just didn't know how good it was.
$35.
Jimmy White himself made one at the World Championship at the Crucible in 1992 against Tony Drago.
36.
His greatest supporter, and he's had many, millions, was his father, Tommy. What a character.
44.
There is definitely more smoothness to his game, Dave, than we saw this afternoon. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I guess he's had a couple of hours just to sort of compose himself again. I think
52.
one of the issues he's had in recent years is, obviously he always used to play on TV, it was no big deal, but as he dropped down the rankings, his TV appearances became less frequent, and therefore when he does play in front of the lights and the cameras, he maybe feels a bit more pressure to perform. And I think we've seen that in various tournaments recent years. Maybe there was a bit of that earlier on, but I think he'll feel now he should win this match, and as you say, give himself a chance to potentially get second place.
Thank you. 58.
Yeah, still needs a break of 101 or more, though. So this is his second chance to
59.
achieve that, and a good chance it is too.
I suspect Jimmy is unaware of that, personally, but he'd love to make a century anyway, just for his own self-confidence.
64. $65. $72. Cheers, Jimmy. Thank you. 73.
Well, he has slowed with age, but only slightly. The whirlwind still swifter than most.
$80.
Into the reds, but to no great reward. Oh, what a shame. That pocket denies him again. Well, we've just seen a glimpse of the old Jimmy White. Over the course of 2 frames, he's looked $1 million. Breaks of 72 and then 80. White leads Sean Maddocks 2-0. It's all white on the night so far in this match. Jimmy White, breaks of 72 and 80. Like the old days, quickly taking a 2-0 lead. As for Sean Maddocks, well, he's now played 8 frames today and lost them all. Only one other player so far has lost all frames in a group. Young Luke Pinches.
One.
Well, have we sort of got in the TARDIS and gone back 30 years? What a terrific red that is from Jimmy. And the black wasn't too shabby either.
You're Doctor Who, I'm H.G. Wells. We've got a pal, you know, called Philip Studd, who's one of our commentary colleagues, and he's a massive Jimmy White fan. If he's watching this, he will be loving every moment.
Yeah, of course you can, yeah.
Rob Spencer. Just getting this black into position. No extra reds needed though. We were having a laugh with Rob earlier. Obviously he had that tricky business with the pink in an earlier match and used a red to measure to see whether it was in a line, and unfortunately very briefly the red remained on the table, but anyway it was all dealt with properly.
9.
Two earlier recovery reds to this yellow pocket have been missed from distance, but not that one.
Well, this may be end of break. Every pot in the break has been excellent, but he's just lost position here by the looks of it.
60.
Just keyboard just overran. Oh, we could get through to that one. Wow.
17.
Well, I don't think he thought initially he could. And if he can win this match with another break, you know, he goes home tonight at least having found a bit of form. He's got another young talent, Aaron Hill, in the British Open tournament. He won twice, 1987 and 1992. Both long before Aaron was born, of course.
Yeah, and I believe that's going to make the cameras, Dave, so we could be in for a treat.
Meanwhile, Rob's having a bit of a nightmare with all this, isn't he? I mean, he's doing a good job, but obviously it just takes a bit of time when the spots are occupied. And Jimmy White, obviously, you know, he's a rhythm player, but nothing can be done. Just what's happened. Got to be in a line with the spots.
23.
Now high on the blue, he can leave an angle to go into the reds.
24.
Well, he's playing the loose one.
Now power is required, screwing in and out of the bunch. Oh, and he's well equipped.
30.
Thankfully, the ping didn't go in. That would have been a shame. This is the best I've seen him play for years. Lovely.
Yeah, I mean, snooker doesn't suffer from a lack of nostalgia, I think it's fair to say, but if you can't appreciate Jimmy White and what he's brought to the sport, then you have no soul, frankly. I mean, his contribution has been immense. And who wouldn't enjoy watching him play well again?
I would say that pink is not Rob Spencer's favourite colour at the moment.
The fun thing is, he's done the rota, hasn't he? He's now the head referee because Paul and Brendan have gone off on holiday. Not together, we should say. So Rob has done the rota and he's been left with all these tricky situations.
37.
Thought he might have caught that one just a hair too thick, but it went in off that far jaw.
$42.
It's like the Morningside Arena is suddenly in a time warp. Didn't quite judge the cannon as he wanted to there. Well, he's looking desperately to try and push the boat out.
Jimmy White, 49.
Bit heavy-handed in the end with the safety. That could have been better. But 49, it was quite a swashbuckling break one way or another until he lost position at the end.
Let me quickly tell you on the other table, John Astley is 2-1 up on Sunny Akani. If he wins the next frame, Astley, he's looking good in that group. The man off the reserve Q School list.
Yeah, he's another one of these players who, you know, technically is an amateur, but he's been on the tour. He's a good player, John Astley. So he's not like he's sort of a fresh face we've never seen before. Wow. Still knocking them in.
Well,
this is a big shot now, this green. If he pots this, could potentially be a match winner. If he misses it, then it is a lifeline to Sean Maddocks. Oh, he thought it was in. He thought it was in, but it stayed out.
one. 7. Eight. 14. 15.
It would be nice to see Sean Maddocks do something positive, although that wasn't the best positional shot. Well recovered.
21.
Cutting back into a blind middle pocket is never easy.
22. Green ball, thank you. Sean Maddocks 22.
Well, okay, nothing left, but disappointing again. It's been scraps really for Maddocks today. You can see beginning to look a little bit disappointed by it all. So 28 in the frame. The white's caught this really thick, this red. Little fortunate really. Could have left that over the middle.
Yeah, certainly against Jimmy Robertson in the first couple of frames, White looked at his most susceptible when he was holding a healthy lead and on the verge of winning frames.
Yeah, I mean, first frame of the day against Joe Perry, he missed a red to the left middle, which was effectively frame ball. He needed a pink, which he would have been on. Perry cleared up, and that really set the tone.
Did, though, have runs of 54 and 58 against Robertson. And then the contributions here. Oh, what a place to finish. The escape is simple, but nevertheless, that was very lucky.
Remember, this is the last week of the first stage of the Championship League. It's Winners' Week next week. We've still got some big hitters to come. Masters champion Yan Bingtao tomorrow. Sean Murphy, world finalist, on Wednesday. Dave Gilbert on Thursday. And Friday, in different groups, both Judd Trump and Mark Allen. So it's going to be a terrific end to the week. And then next week, it's stages 2 and 3. Remember, at the end of all this, there is a knockout final to decide the winner. Karen Wilson beat Judd Trump last year to win the tournament. Now then, he's opened all the reds up here. One's gone on the side cushion, which favours Jimmy White with a 28-point lead.
Foul. Sean Maddocks 4.
Well, I think he'll have a go at this. Pocket that refused to take a couple of reds very readily took the cue ball. Now can Maddocks get back in? Yes, he can. Good pot, and he's brought the red out. The only thing is the next pot is going to be difficult. Just awkward, that was.
Sean Maddocks 1.
White coming round to see whether the red to middle goes past the blue. If it does, that might have been Maddox's last shot. Flew in. Just flicking on a touch of side to widen the angle and go round the back of the red. So White has this essentially for 3-0.
8.
Of course, he wanted to win the group. Started out with a 3-0 defeat by Joe Perry. That put him on the back foot straight away. But I think, Dave, you'll agree, this sets him up nicely for a couple of weeks' time when, as we've talked about, he comes back here for the British Open.
Definitely. He's not been the Jimmy White of his pomp, but
60.
he's played some nice stuff. And the Jimmy White of 2021, 59 years of age, still really enthusiastic about his snooker, very dedicated to practicing. He's not here making up the numbers on some sort of victory lap. He wants to play good stuff. And in this match he has done. Missed that, but shouldn't matter.
Jimmy White 16. Frame on the match.
Indeed, it does not. Couple of V's there. First off, victorious. Second, vintage. Jimmy White breaks of 72, 80 and 49.